Don't blink. It's your boy Yink. Welcome to the Commentary Show. Hope you guys are doing well because I'm having a wonderful day. I'm giving myself props because we did so good today. Today we are of course talking about Lord of the Rings. Your boy. I'm okay. So when I say your boy, thumbnail in the middle of the sentence, I talk about myself. I know this guy is cool, okay, but I'm your boy, okay. Thank you. So your boy spent the whole afternoon, all 5 hours of watching the bonus feature for the first movie, for the second movie, and the third movie. I've watched all three movies together, but I've never watched a bonus feature of them together. So here's my thought. Here's the story behind everything. It was a really cool thing. My favorite, and this is kind of shitty because I am gonna be complaining a lot in this video, but I think this is my fault also. So the best behind the scene was in the Fellowship of the Ring. It was the most complete. It was the whole 2 years. It was the birth of the project. It was the importance of Tolkien and modern culture. It was the actor, how they were chosen, how they felt about it, you know. And to me, it was amazing. Simply the fact that a guy, my favorite part was the guy who went to see planes and just draw Hobbiton, right? Meeting the people. Even though I feel so bad. I feel so bad because Lord of the Ring is so important to me. However, when I see Mary, I cannot help but to think about Charlie and Lost, which I just watched. So, yeah, that's the only problem. So the greatest thing about the watch was how cool it was. Duh. The baddest thing is, by the third movie, I was done because they're using a lot of the same thing. They're using a lot of the same footage. For example, I saw like a last footage, training footage, which is Orlando Bloom, 4 or 5 times, and I only saw the actor of Gimli 2 or 3 times. I only saw Faramir once. I saw Theoden once. You know, somebody as important as Viggo Mortensen, somebody as important as Carl Urban aren't present a lot, you know. Andy Serkis, who is a genius of it, isn't that much present, right? They're showing how hard it was, the intensity of the project, and I think this is the beautiful part. The music, the system of chaos, which is basically horse rider that are acting. Okay, so 10 horse rider that are computer generated, and they're acting opposite of each other, which means that it's 10 unique entity. But it's only taken once. This is actually pretty cool. The whole thing that went to it, choosing the characters. Once again, Sean Bean, not Sean Bean. Sean Bean is freaking Boromir. Sean Austin, who made his own short film. You know, the close bond they were, how important it was. How I don't know. It's such an era to be in. You know, and knowing that his amount of work is in 2 years. But it's weird because they say 2 years, then they say 18 months. So 18 months is not 2 years. 18 months is a year and a half. But who am I to be an asshole and say, hey, I get your shit straight, Brody? I'm nobody to say that, right? So there's a couple of cool things here and there. By the third, like I said, the first one had really the most important stuff. The second one, my favorite, is making Golem, because Golem wasn't easy to make. It was a advancement in technology. The amount of people employed, the amount of weapon built, the sets completely built, the fact that they built Rohan to a normal size. Now they couldn't build Minas Tirith because of obvious reason, but Rohan they did. The fact that when they choose New Zealand, the love of Ian McKellen as Gandalf, you know. And it's weird because I also see Gandalf. I also see Ian McKellen as Magneto. Because Gandalf is, in my opinion, a better character than Magneto. Is more important. But Gandalf, he has the prosthetic, he has the beard, and Magneto is himself, right? So, for previous obvious reasons, I think it's the bond. I think it's the bond of the four movie, the amount of thing there is. I thought it was covered by National Geographic. Also, one of the problem that I had with the behind the scene, which is kind of sucks but kind of good at the same time, is that they're adding some of the how popular Lord of the Ring is, how it changed life, how the premiere did, you know. So that was pretty freaking cool. However, if you're gonna go in there, go for it for the 3 movies. So they do it for the Two Tower, they don't do it for the Return of the King. The fact that we saw that Tolkien wanted to do 1 book, but then it ended up in 3 books, which is why we got 3 movies. It's amazing. The importance of Peter Jackson as a filmographer, right? Acquiring the rights in '95, filming it in 2003, right? And it's the insanity of doing three movie at the same time. The hardship, like Sam getting hurt, Aragorn kicking a helmet. They did talk about that. He kicked a helmet and he broke a toe. I wish they did. They broke a teeth and he wanted to glue it. You know how much the team sacrificed for it, and just how much it meant to them, right? And to me, this is kind of nice because we want more of that. But they did add it, so it did feel a little bit like, okay, well, you have this amazing, amazing, amazing set of bees, which is 2 years. It's focused on the influences. It's focused on the work that they're putting there, but it should have been more about 2 years of making, right? The craziest thing is there's literally DVDs. Now, this is the insane part. You have a movie, you have a different DVDs. DVDs nowadays, a DVD, there's no behind the scene. But back then, the DVD were a big part of profit. You know. So now, that's pretty much my opinion. Now, what we're gonna do is, because we have the 3 DVDs, we're gonna go in, right? We're gonna go and check out all the DVDs, all the booklet, and all the information in there, because I just want to do it. I just want to check it out, and to me, this is meaningful. So, with the help of a courageous fellowship of friends and allies, Frodo embark on a perilous look. They hit it here. They put the price sticker there. I love this. Allies Frodo embark on a perilous mission to destroy the legendary One Ring. Hunting Frodo and the servant of Dark Lord Sauron, the Ring Evil creator, Sauron will claim the Ring Middle Earth is doomed. Winner of 4 Academy Award, the epic tale of good versus evil. Fetching sacrifice will transport you to a world beyond imagination. Which is, again, exactly what's happening. This is such a story. So we're going with, of course, the day one. So this is what you would get if you bought it. There is a literally booklet. Okay, so this is kind of cool. This is, by the way, look at the sunset. This is beautiful. There's literally a booklet in there with over $350. So they're selling you stuff, which there's no good way to show it. So because this camera, the background is disgusting. Guys, look at this. I don't think you understand. Look at this. Look at here. How nice this is. This is marvelous. Okay, perfect. So we're gonna do this. I'm not gonna show you everything. For example, antique, computer, Lord of the Ring, sell coupons. 5% of DVDs on things like Dungeon and Dragon, on Little Nicky. This is kind of cool. Monosuke, that's super cool. Lorraine Enter the Wind. There's a challenge right here, which is again cool. Visit Middle Earth. Self-drive New Zealand. Damn. Yeah, there's just a bunch of ads. But the fact that they add it here is kind of freaking nice. You could literally buy Sting as a weapon. You could buy axe. The One Ring, the Elven Brooch. Wow. This is kind of insane that they put this here. Now, I'm not going to show you everything because it's not the most interesting thing. And I want to keep it interesting, hopefully. Enough for you guys, hopefully. So that you may watch another one of my videos, hopefully. We have a list of the special feature, which is super cool. You have the scene, which is really nice because you go in, right? You go in and you have a list of the scene. So this is super, super nice. And you have a bunch of information on the special feature. So it's super nice. So this is numero uno. Listen, the booklet, the reason why I don't want to get into it is because this is the more commercial aspect to it, which is kind of important in itself, yes. But you want to remember Lord of the Ring for the emotional impact that it has, not for the commercial impact that it has. Am I wrong? Am I right? I don't know. Tell me, guys. Tell me in the comments. We got another book of offer. Look inside for precious offer. This is so cool. This is so cool. Again, the fellowship is broken, but the quest to destroy the One Ring continue. Frodo and Sam must entrust their lives to Gollum to try to find their way to Mordor. As Saruman army approaches, the surviving member of the fellowship, along with people and creature from Middle Earth, prepare for battle. The War of the Ring has begun. You know what's insane? Think about the battles, right? Because of course we're talking about battles. I will have something to say. I believe that the Elm's Deep battles, the battles for Elm's Deep, to me is better than the battle of Minas Tirith. But in the Minas Tirith, you have such badass moments. The best moments, in my opinion, is Eowyn when she kills the Witch King. It's like, no one can kill me. Of course, the Eowyn. I'm going to do another video about my favorite part of the Eowyn and how it's feminism and in best way. I think that's going to be cool. Oh, I didn't even check. I didn't even check. So again, we have the lift of scene, which is kind of cool. You got a Rowan in here. You got a special feature. So pretty much it. So basically, I thought I had something special over here. No, it's just a cell. So if I don't have it, I'll talk about this. When I was talking about the characters and their importance, and this one. That way we have what we want, what we really want, huh? I wanna. In this one, we have the Majestic offer. For this Majesty, the Return of the King, which is, let me guess here. Let me guess, the same thing. Okay. This is why I didn't check it before. I was like, oh my god, there's so much in there. So you got the special feature and you got the select a scene, which is pretty good. And there we go. So because we don't have it, I'm gonna add something in there. See, the Fellowship of the Ring, this is my first time watching it as a content creator. So of course, as a content creator, I analyze a bit more because I want to do some good content and I want to take things in consideration because again, this is the goal here is to make a complete part. In a perfect world, I don't see this in 10 years. Not because it's not good, because, you know, I want to open myself to others' experiences, right? But the Hobbit, the Lord of the Ring, I always saw it as this majestic film, and it is. Don't get me wrong. I always saw it as this great adventure, but I don't know why. Maybe I'm lonely, but I feel more for the characters. For example, the friendship done, right, which is amazing. Like for example, you look at the journey of Merry and Pippin, right, which is grandiose. If you want to really sell it, Merry and Pippin were two simple-minded hobbits. For some reason, I feel like Merry's a bit smarter than Pippin. When I say a bit smarter, I mean a lot smarter. And it's their way to the second book, the second movie, where Merry stays and Rohirrim, I cannot say it, the Rohan. And the cool thing is he offers his service. Pippin does the same thing, but he's working for the army of Gondor. So they both embark on their own journey, and you see that they have some fighting skill from Boromir in the very first. The fact that they had this is super cool. Again, from Boromir to fighting with the ants and how they got trained for that. You know, when you look at Boromir in itself, Boromir is the first to die and the only one of the Fellowship to die, really. But then you look at him as a failure. You look at him as the possible risk. People don't want other people to die. And Boromir is a good character. He represents failure. He represents what would happen if he doesn't succeed. Boromir is a better leader, and I'll die on that hill. Boromir is a better leader than Aragorn. But since... Oh, the big ranking, baby. Level 14. That tower. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we're playing the tower back up. So behind us. You sing it? Not really, huh? Okay, like this is okay. I kind of like it like that. So it's kind of cool because 238, we're beating our score. We're beating our high score by talking to you guys. But after that, I'm gonna have to do tier 2 because I'm gonna try to win. Aragorn, if Boromir didn't die, wouldn't have to be the leader that he's supposed to be. How Eowyn has something to do with it. If it wasn't for Eowyn, Elrond wouldn't give a shit about Aragorn. And if Elrond doesn't give a shit about Eowyn, he doesn't forge a sword. If he doesn't forge a sword, doesn't get the army of the dead, which means that Minas Tirith dies. As simple as that. As simple as this. You look at Frodo and Sam, their relationship that grew, their friendship that grew. The biggest romance in modern history. But then after that, you also see the Gollum, and this is a cool thing because Gollum, there's hopes, right? Now, if you look at Gollum, you look at the whole Smeagol thing, and you can say that's kind of pointless because he's corrupted. He gets nicer, then he gets corrupted again. But at the same time, it's giving a hope to Frodo that there's still hope for Gollum. But then when he said there's no hope, he said there's no hope for me either because I'm becoming Gollum, right? Sam and Frodo, the best friend, they go and adventure together, and all of this is to save each other, right? And then Sam acts like an angel, and Gollum acts as a devil, you know? And this is insane because who will let Frodo listen to? He feels a kinship with Gollum, right? He feels a kinship with Gollum because of how both him and Gollum got affected by the ring, right? So it's kind of important, right? But at the same time, he has this relationship with Sam because he's his best friend. There's past with him. Aragorn himself, Aragorn being the great leader, but this road of doubt, and then you realize that the only reason, my apologies, that he feels that way is because he is ashamed to be Isildur heir. He's ashamed of that. He's ashamed of his past. He's ashamed of his past because there's no future, you know? So that was pretty important to me. Gandalf was a easy wizard. He's a fun wizard. He smoked the pipes. He does firework. He does magic tricks for kids. Spent a lot of time in the Hobbiton, right? Kind of has a good life. Kind of is a more happy-go-lucky kind of guy than Saruman. But then Saruman gets corrupted, and then he goes down and dies. And then the power of above tells him, no, you're not done here. So they revive him at Gandalf the White because Saruman isn't to be trusted anymore. So they literally build this character, which is Gandalf the White, to counter Saruman, right? But Saruman gets destroyed. Wormtongue, played by Brad Dourif. Favorite movie ever is Child's Play 2. Who else? The Gimli and Legolas, the bromance that happened, the uncertainty, doesn't matter the race. Any the race, you know? But my favorite is Eowyn. Eowyn, who's representative. And to me, this is kind of the first element of feminism that I saw. And yes, it's feminism. So Eowyn comes in, and she wants to fight because she lost people. She lost her brother. She lost everyone that she cared for, right? And then she might be losing Aragorn, which is the person that she loved, or Theoden, which is a father figure for her, and he is super important to her, right? So this happened. So she learns to fight, right? And then she's being told, no, you cannot fight. So then there's another guy who's being told I cannot fight, which is Merry. And Mary's being told, like, yo, you're a hobbit, you cannot fight. Yo, you're a hobbit, you cannot fight. So then Mary, 355, baby. 355, hell to the year. Hell to the year. What we're gonna do? We're gonna do health regen the whole time. I'm gonna do 1 health. Good. So now we have to do tier 2. Because for obvious reason. Your boys need to be prepared. Because it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be the hardest thing I've ever done. So yeah, Eowyn, who comes in, and Mary has a sense of wanting to fight. And then she sees Mary and she's herself in Mary. Like, I want to fight too. And we're both being told that we can't fight. But we fight. And then they take out the biggest enemy ever. The biggest enemy ever, you know? And that's pretty much it. You know? Eowyn, who gives up immortality to be with Aragorn. Right? And this is insane because immortality in itself is the biggest prize, right? But the reason why, of course, she's up for love, but she sees more of a future and a mortal life than an eternal life. And this is a lesson to every single elf that are wanting to be the eternal. Like, yo, you're giving up the world, you're giving up the Middle Earth, there's nothing to come back to, right? The Ent, who are passive, who are able to the Ent that are passive, that are able to to do so much damage. If it wasn't for the Ent, Saruman is still there. Saruman would have won. Whatever, 1v1 Gandalf versus Saruman, right? How Pippin constantly fucked up. See, Pippin constantly fucking up is kind of important because, and his whole fucked up is kind of lucky, right? For example, because there it is. See, this is insane when you think about it, right? So Pippin, if he wasn't fucking up that much, right? He never woke up the army of Mines of Moria, right? He never wake up the Mine of Moria enemies. Because he doesn't wake up the Mines of Moria enemies, it doesn't wake up who? The Balrog, you're right. Because it doesn't wake up the Balrog doesn't kill Gandalf. Gandalf isn't killed, Gandalf doesn't become Gandalf the White. Second one, he finds the orbs and he's being told, don't look at that orbs, whatever you do not look at it. And he does. So then what happened is Saruman thinks he has the ring, which takes the focus away from Frodo. All these characters are meaningful. I would like more Gimli, I would like more Legolas, right? I had to watch the bonus features to realize that Legolas was part of a special kind of elf. There was multiple race of elf inside the elf realm. Didn't know that. Well, thank you, bonus feature, for teaching me the ways of my mistakes.